Welcome friends to Farm Fresh Designs 59. In today's video, I've got some quick and easy Christmas gifts that you can make in very little time. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My first 3 projects are made from Dollar Tree frames for $1.25. And yes, that was actually glass and not plastic, which is what I need for this project. Now the frames are plastic and they're slick, so I'm going to make sure that I use chalk paint. So the first one is paint with Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, which is a really deep black. The next one is painted with a fusion color called Everett, which is a really pretty green. And then the last one is painted with Rust-Oleum chiffon cream. And I'm using salt wash because I need to add just something on this one to kind of make it pop. And if I add that salt wash, it gives it a little bit of texture, and that's what I needed it to have. Because now I'm going back with Dixie Belle Gold Gilding Wax, and I'm brushing on top of it, and it's picking up those little peaks and valleys of that salt wash, and it really adds a lot of texture and a lot of depth to this particular frame, because I wanted it to kind of stand out just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to be using some decoupage paper from Decoupage Central, and I'm going to make sure and share all of those links in the description box below. So I take that paper that came in that picture frame because I want to make sure I get the exact size, and this is good in case you don't have a paper cutter. So I tape it down to make sure it doesn't slide at all, and then I'm going to cut it to an 8 by 10 size because the paper is 8.5 by 11, because I actually used a printable that you can download from Decoupage Central for $1.99. And please hear me when I say this, you can print it off more than one time, and you can also scale it to different sizes. And I'm going to show you that in just a few minutes, but it is such a bargain. And on Decoupage Central, when you go to the top at the link that says printables, you're going to find a lot of printables. And so if you have a color printer, or if you have access to a print store, then this makes it really easy and you don't need to wait on the post office. So the first one was a cardinal, and then the second one was a rose, and then this last one is a cherub. Now, the last 2 papers don't go all the way to the edge, and so I use that gold gilding wax, and I kind of rub it around on that white spot, so you won't see the white spot in the frame. And actually, it looks sort of dark here, but when you look at it at the end, you don't even notice that it is that difference to it at all, because it's also right on the edge of the frame. Okay, so let's fancy up those frames. The first mold that I'm using is the IOD Boughs mold, and that is still available from Decoupage Central. And so I put cornstarch in it, and I use my air dry clay, and then I like to rub back over it with like a credit card or a gift card, and that just smooths out the edge a lot. Now this step is not necessary, it's just one of those standard practices that I do. But what I also find is that it helps me not waste any clay, and I scrape that clay off and I put it back in my little plastic bag. And then that cornstarch helps it to roll out really easy. Now I already have the paper in the frame, and I already have the glass, because I'm actually going to glue this right to the frame and to the glass because the mold is rather large, and that's okay because that's what I want it to be. And I put it on with tight bond glue, and then I go ahead and paint it after about 10 or 15 minutes, and I paint this with Rust-Oleum chiffon cream. Because if you wait overnight to paint it, then you're going to have a little bit more cracking. So if you go ahead and paint it, then it's going to help reduce the cracking a lot. So the next mold that I'm using is the IOD Felicity mold that came out, I believe, this summer, and it's some really deep roses. So for some reason, I decided to go ahead and paint them right then. I have kind of used a heat gun to try and dry them off just a little bit so I won't end up with paint all over my hands. And I frankly decided it might be a little bit easier to paint them because I didn't want to slip and get any paint on that glass or on that frame. And once again, I put them on with Tite Bond Thick and Quick, and I put these up in the left corner. Now, just note that this paper, this printable paper that you can print off for $1.99 and use it as many times as you want, is something that's not Christmas related, but it's something that you could give to someone because with Christmas gifts, it can be something that they can use all of the time, not just at Christmas. Now, the last mold comes from a really old and very rare mold, and it's called Boughs of Holly, and it's a beautiful poinsettia. And if you don't have this mold, which there's still a lot of people that don't have it, just know that you can find like a little faux poinsettia at Walmart, and then you can just glue that to it as well. And this one I put down in the bottom right-hand corner because I don't want to like mess up any of the detail up at the top. So on all of these molds, after I've painted them, then I go back with the Dixie Belle Gold Gilding Wax because, well, I just want to dress it up a little bit and because I like gold gilding wax. So on this black frame, I decide that I'm going to just brush on that gold gilding wax because there is just a little bit of a ledge on this frame. And also, it just dresses it up more for Christmas as well. But I just love this paper. And I love that it's inexpensive and you can print it off as many times as you'd like. Now, on the next frame, the one that has the cherub, then I'm going to be using the bow mold. And I'm going to put gold gilding wax on that because it also brings out the detail in the mold. Then on the next frame that has the roses on it, once again, I'm going to put gold gilding wax all around those edges, and I do go back and I put it on the roses as well. Now watch. This makes it a message board. So pick you up a $1.25 frame, get you a printable from Decoupage Central, print it off, go ahead and get that frame ready the way you want to. Pick up an expo marker and maybe an eraser and give this as a very inexpensive gift to someone. You made it really quick and it just really pops. And it's got an easel to it so it sits very easy on the countertop. And I just want to give a shout out to a second grade teacher that years ago showed me this trick about how to turn glass into a message board with just an expo marker. So I love the way these turned out. So tell me, what do you think? I know you can do this, and it is such an incredible gift to somebody, and you didn't spend very much money at all. So friends, I received my first Teddy Blake bag, and I'm more than thrilled to receive it. I am a real connoisseur of handbags. That's something y'all don't know about me. And so when I found out about this product and about this company, I knew that I just had to have one. And they come in all styles and colors and choices. And every month they come out with new collections. And they try to keep it at affordable price levels, even though it is luxury leather. It's dyed and treated to withstand the test of time and to keep that same luxurious look. And they have decades experience in luxury leather. It's high quality construction and the details are wonderful. And they never compromise on quality. Now, let me just let you know that if you decide to purchase one of these for yourself or for a loved one, that they are offering you a $30 off code, and that will be in the description box below. And also, if you watch this in time, they are offering some of the biggest discounts of the year. So if you want one of these bags, or if you want to gift this to someone, make sure to go to the website today and go ahead and check out and find out which one you want to purchase for yourself or for one of your loved ones. And friends, if you've watched my channel, you know that one of my favorite colors is a moss or olive green. So when I went to the website, this one really stood out for me, and I love all the detail. And it comes with a really nice dust bag, and it comes with the strap that you can put it on your shoulder as well. So on Thanksgiving, I was showing my family this beautiful bag, and this is my beautiful and gorgeous niece that is graduating from Georgia Tech in December, and I'm so proud of her. And she had on an olive striped shirt, and so she agreed to model this for me. And she just did such a great job. And this is out at my mom's house. And so we just thought this would be fun to share this with you. And I know that you would appreciate me sharing my family with you as well. Now my next three projects are pillows that I purchased off of Amazon, and I went on and washed them to make sure that I got any of the sizing off, and I pressed over them. And all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting some older transfers that I have left over, and it's really easy to put transfers on fabric, but it takes just a little bit more time than what you would normally do if you were putting it on wood. So the transfer that I'm using first is Joie de Roses, and it came out, I believe, in the spring, and it's 8 12 by 16 sheets, and I had actually only used about half of it on a dresser that I used in a previous video. And I use 2 full sheets, and I make 2 different pillows out of them, and one of them actually has a bird in it, which for so many of us, we love projects that have birds in it. And with this particular one, I decided to take some scraps from different sheets that I had kind of cut off, and I just put those up in the top right-hand corner. And I think that they look really, good with this particular design, and it doesn't look like that I kind of cut up different pieces and added them. And then you use that plastic sheet to rub over it, and that's called burnishing it. Now I have one more pillow that I want to make, and this is from an older transfer called Elysium, and this one only has 4 12 by 16 sheets, and I just love it. And remember, these are Christmas gifts, so it doesn't have to be Christmas related, because you're going to give somebody something that you hope that they can use all year round. So I wanted to kind of dress it up just a little bit, so then I pulled out my stamp set called Ephemera Type, and that came out this year as well. And I just took several different pieces. I used 2 different pieces of script, and then I used just like a little round stamp. And when you stamp onto fabric, you need to add just a little bit more ink to that stamp, because that fabric is going to absorb that ink really well. And by adding the stamps, it looks like I really put a little bit more effort in it than just putting a transfer on it, and it makes it look more high-end. So here's my first 2 pillows that will go to a friend as a Christmas gift using the Joie de Roses. And then there is one pillow that with the Elysium that will go to another friend. So tell me, what do you think of these beautiful pillows? And the pillowcases that I purchased from Amazon actually have a zipper, so I'm going to need to buy pillow forms to put inside of these pillows before I give them as gifts. But it makes it a really inexpensive gift with some beautiful transfers, and it was super quick to make. So what do you think? Okay, so now I'm going to make a couple tote bags, and you can buy these at Hobby Lobby or you can get them off of Amazon, and they're just made from some basic cotton. So this decoupage paper also comes from Decoupage Central, and Decoupage Central is where I get all of my decoupage paper and my IOD. And so anything that I share with you today, both decoupage paper or IOD, I will have those links in the description box below. So what some of you might not have thought about is that you can actually add decoupage paper to fabric, and it's really easy to do. And I'm going to be using Pent Art Fabric Medium, and it's very sturdy and it holds up really well. So there's a larger design, and then there's 2 smaller ones, and I'm just using a water pen to get rid of all of that extra paper, or as much as I possibly can. So once again, I've washed these tote bags, and then I did not put them in the dryer with the fabric sheet because I didn't want to have any extra chemicals on them. And then I pressed over them so that I would already have it pressed so that there wouldn't be any wrinkles when I add this decoupage paper. And then with this Pent Art Fabric Medium, it's just like Mod Podge or any other adhesive. It goes on really well, and then I brush it all over this design. And this will make a really nice tote bag for someone, or if you have someone that goes to the grocery store and likes to use their own sacks, instead of using the plastic grocery sacks, this is a wonderful gift for them that you can give to them at Christmas time. And these actually, I would not advise you to wash them, but you might be able to spray them with like a Scotch Guard to protect them a little bit. But I've had some of these before, and they don't get dirty, and they really hold up. And then once again, I pull out my ephemera type stamp, and I just add a little bit of script to it here and there. And then there's another little design, and then some more script at the bottom. And I just think it turned out really pretty. And I love these colors. And this is going to make a great Christmas gift. All right, on my next tote bag, I'm going to be using the entire stamp of Rose Toile. And I love this stamp so much. And so I just actually leave it on the plastic sheet. And I just put it right onto that tote bag. And I just go ahead and use my little tool to press it all down. And then there you go. It's beautiful. And you have another beautiful tote bag to gift. Now, this is just a little kitchen hand towel that I got some of these off of Amazon because I like to give these as gifts as well. And this is an older stamp set that's called Cozy by IOD. And so I just stamp it, and I use a different mask on it to kind of cover up the whipped cream on that little cup. So what it really means is you stamp all of it, and then you put that mask on it, and then you stamp the cup on top of that, because what that mask does, it allows that whipped cream look up at the top just, not kind of show up or mess up when you stamp the cup. Does that make sense? And then you press this afterwards, and then after that, it seals the ink because the ink is permanent. And I'm going to show you that little teeny bag up underneath that tote bag in just a second. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some gift bags that you can be using that you can design yourself, and you don't have to go buy them at the store. So you can go to Hobby Lobby and get a pack of these different gift bags. And then on this one in particular, I just dry brushed white paint on it because this piece of decoupage paper, I wanted it to look a little bit rustic, and I had to tear off parts of the design just so that it would fit on this gift bag. And then I just glued it all on with Mod Podge, and then I'll show you the final result in the end. Now, look at this one. This is a printable, and remember I told you you could do it in different sizes. So watch what I'm doing. When I printed this one, the scale I put at 50%. So the 100% I put on a gift bag. And look what I do with this one at 50%. I actually put it on a white lunch bag. Put it on with a glue stick. And then I'm going to punch some little holes in it. I'm going to fold it over up at the top. Punch some little holes in it. And then I'm going to tie a ribbon on it. And that is a really neat gift bag. So if you've got something small to give to someone, then you can just use a lunch bag. And it's super cheap. And remember, the printables are $1.99 and it doesn't matter how many times you print them out. That price stays the same because you have bought the file for $1.99. And it is such a bargain. And then up in the top of these pieces of decoupage paper, I used an older Christmas stamp called Merry and Bright because it has a little stamp in it that says Merry Christmas. But these are super inexpensive to make. And here's all of the gift bags that I made. The Santa is a printable, and this little house scene is a printable. And then the cardinal and the little cow, those are actually decoupage paper that you purchase, and it comes to you in the mail. But I like making my own gift bags because I can kind of tailor it to who I'm giving the gift to. And here's some other printables that I got off of Decoupage Central that I put on little lunch bags. And I just think they're beautiful. And when you scale down on these different graphics, it doesn't distort the graphic at all. It still comes out crisp and clean, and they are a bargain for as many times as you want to print them out and all the different scales. Okay, so let me show you another sort of way that you can put a gift together. This piece of decoupage paper that I get from Decoupage Central, it's made by Milky Valley, and it had 8 different designs on it. So I used my little water pen to separate all of them. And these are some little gift bags that you can get off of Amazon. And it comes in a pack with right many of them. And I pressed it with an iron, and then I put a piece of aluminum foil in between, and then each one of these little 8 designs, I'm just going to put it back on again with that Pin Art fabric medium like I did before, and then you've got a cute little bag in case you want to give someone a piece of jewelry, or you could use it to put a gift card in. You can just use it for multiple things. Now, let me just suggest to you, don't use aluminum foil inside the bag, because when it dried, well, it was a little difficult to get that aluminum foil out. So I would suggest that if you decide to do this, you need to slide a piece of parchment paper in between, because then it doesn't stick to that. But I love all of the designs that came on this just one piece of decoupage paper. So you've got some really inexpensive things to put gifts in as we get closer to Christmas, and you want to really customize the gifts that you give to other people. So what do you think, and which one of these is your favorite? Okay, so my last gift is something that I wanted to share with y'all based on my last video. So I used one of those pink molds that you get from Hobby Lobby that you buy down in the cake department. And I used air dry clay, and it did not work good at all. And y'all were so sweet to share with me what I needed to use in these molds instead of air dry clay. So I had some caulking that I've used on other projects before, and so I just squeezed that into those molds, which are really, really thin, and then I used a gift card and spread it back over it to kind of smooth it out. But then it does take 24 hours to dry. And y'all know that I'm impatient, so this was kind of hard for me to do, to wait for 24 hours. But this one had 3 different designs on it, so I went on and made all of them. And then this sewing box that I had, the last one I have left in my sewing stash, or my stash for right now, I started off by painting it with a bonding primer, and then I went back and painted it with Waverly chalk paint in the color moss. Now I'm ready for my molds, but I'm going to go ahead and paint them because there's lots of little holes in it, because these molds look like lace. So I paint those with Rust-Oleum chiffon cream, and then I put those on with Titebond Thick and Quick. And I love the way it turned out, and I'm so thankful that y'all shared with me how to actually use these pink molds. And this is just a resin mold made from the IOD Cameo mold that I just had in my stash and had left over from another project. Now, this last transfer that I'm going to be using is called the Botanist. And after this, I have very little left of this transfer, and I love it. But, of course, it's got mossy green in it, and it's got pink, which those are my favorite colors together. So on the other side of the sewing box, I sprayed it with some clear sealer so that transfer would go down before I put on the transfer, and then I added something different to the other side. And then, well, because I'm me, I put some gold gilding wax on that little cameo, and I love the way it turned out. Now, this is something that you could make for a friend as a gift, but this one's going to stay with me because, well, it's my favorite color and I love sewing boxes. But I wanted to show you how you could make something like this with a different sort of box if you don't have a sewing box, and put some pretty towels and washcloths in it and some specialty soap, and it just makes a wonderful gift. So, friends, we are at the end of the video, and I'm so excited to share all of these with you. I can't tell you which one is my favorite, but I'll tell you the one I was most excited about. I was the most excited about sharing with you the first one, where you use the Expo marker to make you a dry erase board that you can use to set up on the counter. And I want to thank that second grade teacher who I actually saw on Black Friday and told her I was going to be talking about her. Because she gave me such a great idea years ago. And it's just a really neat gift that you can give to somebody. And when you start looking for decoupage paper to put in these frames, think outside the box, because when you go to Decoupage Central, you're going to find a plethora of all different designs. And you can really get lost on that website. She has so many beautiful pieces on there. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. In the comments below, tell me which one was your favorite. And also, if you're interested in getting one of the Teddy Blake bags, make sure to use the coupon code that I'm going to have down in the description box below. And once again, I want to thank my sweet niece for making this video for me. I love her so much, and I'm so, so proud of her. I hope you all have a wonderful week. And if you enjoyed the video today, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and become part of our family. Thank you so much for all of your support. Have a great day.